Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something
Oh, yeah.
that I know we've all wrestled with at
Yeah.
some point. It's that confidence boost we need when we're applying for jobs
Oh, for sure.
and facing those interviews. You shared with me an episode from the Pathway to Work called Building Confidence for Job Applications and Interviews, and it's got some interesting points I think we can unpack.
Yeah. What I find fascinating is how the source goes immediately beyond just listing your skills. It highlights this almost like intangible element of confidence.
Yeah.
And how employers actually pick up on that.
Yeah.
And they see it as a sign of competence, enthusiasm, even resilience.
Right. It's like confidence is that secret sauce that makes all your skills and your experience stand out, you know?
For sure.
But the episode doesn't shy away from the fact that job hunting can be brutal, like rejection is practically built in to the process.
Yeah, and that's where I think that resilience piece comes in.
Yeah.
It's interesting how they link confidence not just to like feeling good, but to like bouncing back from setbacks.
Yeah.
Because we all know those no's can hit hard.
They do. Okay, but what about when you're staring at a job description
Oh, yeah.
and you know that little voice in your head is screaming, imposter? We've all been there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. This whole imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah. The source digs into this and points out how common it is, especially when we're sort of pushing ourselves professionally. Fear of rejection, not knowing how to really sell our strengths. It creates this battle inside between what we can do and what we think we can't do.
So how do we fight back against this imposter syndrome? I love that the podcast episode suggests celebrating even the smallest wins. They call it creating a success list.
Yes, it's so easy to fixate on what we haven't achieved.
Right.
But taking stock of our accomplishments, no matter how small, I think can be incredibly powerful.
Think about it. Think about your past projects. What were those moments where you overcame a challenge or felt that surge of pride? Jot those down.
Totally.
It's like building evidence against those imposter feelings.
It's like proof that you can do it.
And speaking of showcasing those accomplishments, the episode dives into resumes and cover letters.
Yes.
And they're adamant that tailoring is key.
Absolutely.
Like a generic template just won't cut it. It's about understanding each specific role and highlighting the skills and experiences that truly matter to that employer.
For example, imagine you're applying to like a fast-paced startup.
Okay.
Your resume should scream adaptability, quick learning, things that are vital in that environment. But if you're applying for like a large corporation, you might emphasize teamwork, process adherence, you see.
So it's not just about keywords. It's about understanding the company's DNA and speaking their language.
Totally.
And when you are describing your accomplishments, they recommend strong action verbs.
Like instead of responsible for, use managed or led. It just adds more energy and impact.
And whenever you can, quantify those achievements. Like instead of saying improved sales, say increased sales by 20%. There you go. Now you've got proof.
Proof of your impact.
Yes. Numbers tell a story that employers can quickly grasp. It gives your accomplishments like weight and credibility.
Now, of course, the episode stresses the importance of research.
Oh, yeah.
And preparation.
Of course.
Which I know it sounds obvious.
Yeah.
But, it's easy to skimp on this when you're feeling overwhelmed by everything else.
But research is key. Go beyond the company website. Analyze their competitors. Read industry reports. You can even check employee reviews on Glassdoor.
Oh, yeah.
This gives you a deeper understanding of their culture, their challenges, their potential needs.
And once you have that intel, the podcast has this great exercise.
Yeah.
Write down how your skills and values connect with the company's mission.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so then they go on to this technique they highlight, the STAR method.
Oh, yes, the STAR method.
Tell me more about the STAR method.
So it stands for Situation, Task, Action, Result. It's a framework for structuring your answers to interview questions and in a way that's clear, concise, and memorable.
Okay.
You set the scene, describe the task, explain your action, and then highlight the positive outcome.
So instead of rambling or getting lost in the weeds, you're telling a focused story that showcases your problem-solving skills.
Exactly. So let's say you're a software developer. When asked about a time you solved a problem, you could use the STAR method to describe debugging a complex code issue. You outline the steps you took, the tools you used, and the positive impact your solution had on the project.
Right. So you're not just saying, I'm good at problem solving, you're demonstrating it.
You're showing it.
With an example.
Yes.
That resonates with their specific needs.
Exactly. It's about showing, not just telling.
Yeah, of it.
And the source even emphasizes practicing these star stories beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
Get them solid.
I once bombed an interview because I hadn't researched the company.
Oh, no.
So let's just say I learned the hard way about the importance of preparation.
You did?
But all this prep is really about building confidence for that moment when you're actually in the interview room, right?
Absolutely. And the episode offers some interesting insights on navigating that often intimidating setting.
Okay. So we've covered imposter syndrome, crafting compelling applications, the power of research.
Right.
But what about when you actually land that interview?
Yes.
Those can be nerve-wracking.
Definitely. The podcast provides some great tips for feeling confident in that setting. It starts with the basics. Dress for success.
Okay.
When you look good, you feel good. That confidence projects, but it goes beyond just attire.
So it's not just about looking sharp.
Right.
What else do they recommend?
They talk about mastering body language,
Okay.
making eye contact, offering a firm handshake, sitting with an open posture. All these nonverbal cues convey confidence and engagement.
It's about sending those subconscious signals that say, I'm present, I'm interested.
Yes.
I'm ready for this.
Exactly. But here's what I find particularly insightful. They encourage you to view the interview as a two-way conversation. It's not just about you trying to impress them.
You mean it's also about us figuring out if the company is a good fit for U.S.?
Precisely.
Oh.
It's about gathering information and assessing whether this company, this role, this team aligns with your values and your goals.
That's such a good point.
It is.
It takes the pressure off, right?
Totally.
And allows us to approach it with more curiosity
Yeah.
and genuine engagement.
Absolutely. And finally, the episode touches on something that some might find a bit cheesy.
Okay.
But that can be surprisingly powerful. Positive affirmations.
Positive affirmations. You mean those I am capable and prepared pep talks we sometimes give ourselves?
Yes. It might feel silly at first, but consciously replacing negative self-doubt with empowering statements can actually shift your mindset.
So instead of letting those I'm not good enough thoughts spiral, we're actively choosing to focus on our strengths and potential.
Exactly. It's like mental weight training for confidence.
I love that.
And the episode actually shares a case study about a recent grad named Aisha, who put all these principles into practice.
Oh, I love a good success story.
Okay.
Tell me about Aisha.
So Aisha was feeling incredibly intimidated by the job market, like a lot of recent grads are. Limited experience, struggling with self-doubt, the whole 9 yards.
I bet a lot of people listening can relate to that feeling of not being enough when you're fresh out of school.
Absolutely. But instead of getting bogged down, Aisha focused on her transferable skills.
Okay.
She looked at her part-time jobs, her volunteer experiences, even personal projects, and she identified the skills she'd gained that were relevant to her field.
That's a great reminder that experience doesn't always have to come from a formal job title.
Exactly.
Right.
And Aisha didn't stop there. She embraced tailoring her applications. No generic resumes for her.
Yeah.
She researched each company and each role meticulously, highlighting specific skills and experiences that aligned with their needs.
So she was showing them that she understood their challenges.
Yes.
And was ready to jump in and be a problem solver.
Totally.
Not just a job seeker.
Right. And she practiced her interview answers with a friend, using the STAR method to tell compelling stories that showcased her abilities.
It's like anything else. Practice makes perfect. The more you rehearse, the more confident and natural you'll feel.
For sure.
When those questions come up in the actual interview.
Exactly.
And ultimately, all of Aisha's hard work paid off.
It did.
She landed a role that was perfectly aligned with her goals.
That's amazing.
That's so inspiring. Aisha took those feelings of self-doubt and turned them into fuel for success.
I love it.
It's like she took the advice from the pathway to work and absolutely ran with it.
Her story is a fantastic example of how powerful these seemingly simple techniques can be. And speaking of actionable steps, the episode ends with what they call a confidence checklist.
Ooh, I love a good checklist. Let's dive into that in part 2 of our deep dive.
So you ready to tackle this confidence checklist?
Let's do it.
It's a fantastic way to put all these concepts we've talked about into action.
Absolutely. We've laid the groundwork. Now let's get practical.
Right.
What's the first step on this checklist?
Step 1 is all about recognizing your strengths.
Okay.
They encourage you to write down 3 strengths or skills that you bring to the workplace.
So it's about getting crystal clear on what you're good at, what makes you unique, what value do you bring to the table.
Right.
This is where some real self-reflection comes in.
This is it, yeah. It's about owning those strengths, not downplaying them. And step 2 takes us a step further.
Okay.
They ask you to identify a professional or personal achievement that you're proud of.
Okay.
And practice describing it using that STAR method we talked about.
Perfect.
Remember that?
Yes. We're taking those strengths and backing them up with evidence.
Exactly.
So it's not just saying, I'm a great problem solver. It's about having a compelling story ready to go that demonstrates that skill in action.
Think of it like this. You're creating a highlight reel of your accomplishments. You're choosing a scene, setting the stage, highlighting your role, and emphasizing the positive outcome.
Yeah.
It's storytelling with a purpose.
I love that. It's like turning your resume bullet points into engaging mini narratives.
Oh, yeah.
It's about bringing those experiences to life. Okay, what's next on the confidence checklist?
Step 3 brings us back to that crucial research we discussed.
Okay.
It's about connecting the dots between your skills and the target company. They suggest writing down 3 ways your skills and values align with the company's mission.
So this is where we go beyond simply admiring a company from afar. We're digging deep, understanding their goals, their challenges, and figuring out where WE fit into that picture.
Exactly. It's like building a bridge between what you offer and what they need.
Yes.
And it's incredibly valuable preparation.
Okay.
For those interview questions that often trip people up, like, why should we hire you?
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Because when you've done that legwork,
you got it.
You're not fumbling for an answer.
Right.
You can articulate clearly and confidently why you're the right person for the job.
Exactly.
Which leads us perfectly to the final step on the checklist.
Yes.
Tackling that dreaded, why should we hire you question head on.
It's the question that can make even the most seasoned professional sweat a little.
For sure.
But the episode encourages you to view it as an opportunity, not a threat.
Instead of dreading it, we're going to reframe it as a chance to shine.
Precisely. It's your chance to bring everything together.
Yeah.
Your strengths, your star stories, your understanding of the company's needs. It's about confidently highlighting what makes you uniquely qualified for the role.
The podcast emphasizes that it's not about bragging or being arrogant.
Not at all.
It's about presenting yourself authentically and demonstrating how your skills and experiences directly align with what they're looking for.
And remember, they're looking for someone who is not only competent, but also enthusiastic and engaged.
Oh, yeah.
This is your moment to let your passion shine through.
That's a great point.
It is.
It's about showing them that you're not just looking for any job. You're genuinely interested in this opportunity.
Yes.
And you're excited about the possibility of contributing to their success.
And it goes back to that two-way conversation idea.
Yeah.
You're also assessing whether this role and this company are the right fit for you.
Right.
You're looking for a place where you can thrive and grow.
So we've walked through this confidence checklist step by step.
We have.
And I have to say, it's incredibly empowering.
It is.
It's a roadmap for taking control of the job search process and approaching it with a sense of confidence and purpose.
And remember, even if you don't get every job you apply for, each experience is a learning opportunity. You're honing your skills, refining your approach, building that all-important confidence muscle.
Which brings us back to Aisha's story.
Oh, yeah.
It's a powerful reminder that these principles really work.
They do.
She went from feeling intimidated and unsure to landing her dream job.
Aisha's journey is a testament to the transformative power of self-belief and preparation.
Yes.
It's about shifting our focus from what we lack to what we offer.
And that's a message I think we can all take to heart.
I agree.
But before we get too sentimental, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on one more aspect of the podcast episode, the power of positive affirmations.
Yes, positive affirmations.
What do you think?
They can be a bit polarizing.
Yeah.
Some people swear by them, while others find them a bit cheesy.
I'll admit, I used to roll my eyes at the thought of repeating, I am worthy in the mirror.
Oh.
But I have found that intentionally shifting my self-talk can have a real impact, especially in those moments of self-doubt.
You've hit on a key point.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you. For some, it might be affirmations. For others, it might be visualization or power poses. It's about finding the tools that help you tap into your inner confidence.
So it's not about forcing ourselves to believe something we don't.
Right.
It's about actively choosing to focus on our strengths and possibilities,
Exactly.
rather than dwelling on our fears and perceived shortcomings.
It's about cultivating a more supportive and empowering internal dialogue.
I like that.
And I think that's a perfect note to transition to the final part of our deep dive, where we can explore some additional insights and takeaways from the episode.
You know, as we're wrapping up our deep dive into building confidence for job applications and interviews, I keep coming back to this idea of reframing the interview itself.
Yeah, it's a shift in perspective that I think can be incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing it as a test that we need to pass, what if we approached it as a conversation, a chance for mutual discovery?
That really resonates with me. The podcast episode really stressed that it's not just about us trying to impress them.
Right.
It's also about us gathering information and figuring out if this company, this role, this team is the right fit for US.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we have choices too.
Yeah,
We're not just applicants, we're also assessors.
I like that.
We're evaluating whether this opportunity aligns with our goals and our values.
That's such a powerful shift, I think. It takes some of the pressure off
For sure.
and allows us to show up with more genuine curiosity and engagement.
And that shift can actually boost our confidence.
Mm.
When we view ourselves as equals in the conversation, we're more likely to project authenticity and enthusiasm.
It's like that saying, be interested, not interesting.
Ooh, I like that.
When we're genuinely curious about the company and the role, that passion shines through.
It does.
And it's contagious.
Yeah, and it helps us move beyond simply reciting our qualifications. We're able to connect with the interviewers on a human level, demonstrating our personality and our potential cultural fit.
Speaking of demonstrating our best selves, the podcast also touched on the importance of body language in interviews.
Yes, it's amazing how much our nonverbal cues can impact the way we're perceived. Making eye contact, offering a firm handshake, sitting with an open posture.
Right.
These are all signals of confidence and engagement.
It's like we're sending those subconscious messages that say, I'm present, I'm interested, and I'm ready to contribute.
Absolutely. And it's not about trying to be someone we're not.
Right.
It's about being mindful of our body language and ensuring that it aligns with the confident, capable individuals we know ourselves to be.
So it's a combination of inner work, building that foundation of self-belief, and outer work.
Yeah.
Practicing those interview skills and being aware of how we present ourselves.
Right. It's about showing up as our authentic selves, fully prepared and ready to engage in a meaningful conversation.
You know, as we reflect on all the insights from this episode, from battling imposter syndrome to crafting compelling applications to mastering the STAR method, I'm struck by how much emphasis the podcast placed on taking action.
Oh, absolutely. It's not enough to simply listen to the advice or read the tips. It's about putting those principles into practice. It's about doing the work, even when it feels challenging or uncomfortable.
And remembering that even the most successful people experience setbacks.
Oh, for sure.
Along the way.
It's about learning from those experiences, picking ourselves up, and continuing to move forward.
And that's what Aisha's story so beautifully illustrates.
I agree.
She didn't let her initial fears and self-doubt hold her back. She embraced the challenges, put in the effort, and ultimately achieved her goals.
Yeah, her journey is a powerful reminder that we all have that potential within us.
Yeah.
It's about believing in ourselves, taking those steps, and never giving up on our dreams.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious to know, what resonated most with you? What insights or strategies are you feeling inspired to put into practice?
Maybe it's creating that success list to combat imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's mastering the STAR method to tell more compelling stories about your accomplishments.
Or perhaps it's simply that shift in perspective, approaching interviews as conversations and opportunities for mutual discovery.
I love that.
Whatever it is, hold on to that spark of inspiration and take that first step.
Because every action, every effort, every step forward brings you closer to achieving your goals.
And who knows, maybe your story will be the next inspiring success story we share on the Deep Dive.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.